The sharp slam of car doors cut through the calm golden quiet of my ranch that morning. I lifted my mug of coffee and squinted toward the sound. A minivan was parked just outside my private gate, and 4 strangers were unloading paddleboards and coolers like they owned the place. They walked straight past a large red private property sign, laughing and chatting excitedly about their lake day. I set my mug down and walked toward them, my boots crunching on the gravel. "Excuse me," I called out firmly. "This is private property. The lake isn't open to the public." A woman in oversized designer sunglasses turned toward me, eyebrows pulled together in confusion. "But we booked this online," she said, holding up her phone. "Paid $75 a day." My stomach tightened as she showed me a booking confirmation. Peaceful Waters Lake access. My lake. A system I had never authorized. "Where exactly did you book this?" I asked, keeping my voice controlled. She scrolled again and opened an Oakwood Valley Estates HOA page. It said it's a brand new amenity for residents and their guests. Oakwood Valley Estates. I already knew exactly whose fingerprints were all over this. Let me step back. My name is Arthur Mitchell, and for the last 15 years, I've owned a 100-acre ranch. Right in the middle of it sits a pristine 20-acre lake I've kept private and protected. My land lies just outside the Oakwood Valley Estates HOA boundary, which has always been a blessing and lately a curse. About 6 months ago, the HOA elected a new president, Cynthia Gallagher. But everyone in the neighborhood had another name for her. Karen, early 50s, perfectly put together, with the personality of a drill sergeant mixed with a pushy used car salesman. From the moment she took office, she had been eyeing my lake like it belonged to her. It started subtly, suggestions during community meetings I attended out of courtesy. "Wouldn't it be wonderful if we expanded our community amenities?" she'd say, staring directly at me. "That beautiful lake just sitting there. Imagine if everyone could enjoy it." Every time, I declined politely but firmly. The lake wasn't just scenery. It was a protected sanctuary, a carefully managed habitat for native fish and nesting waterfowl. But Karen didn't understand, no. The pressure escalated. Official HOA letters arrived suggesting community partnerships. Then came surprise visits to my gate with committee members talking about shared resources and community value. But listing my lake online without permission? That crossed a line. After sending the confused family away, I went straight to my computer. And there it was, an entire slick website on the HOA page. Photos of my lake taken from the roadside. Pricing packages. Fake 5-star reviews praising peaceful waters and great fishing. A new partnership between HOA and local landowners, it claimed. At the bottom, contact Cynthia Gallagher. I printed everything and called my lawyer, Evelyn Ross. "She's charging people to access your private property without consent," Evelyn said, disbelief sharp in her voice. "This is fraud and trespassing. At minimum, what do you recommend?" I asked. "We can file a cease and desist, press charges, sue for damages, or we can play it smarter." Over the next week, I documented everything. More families arrived with bookings. I turned them away and recorded their details as witnesses. I installed security cameras across the property. Meanwhile, Karen doubled down. She emailed me personally, accusing me of being selfish and damaging property values by keeping the lake hidden. Then Evelyn called again. "You're not going to believe this," she said, almost laughing. "The 5-acre lot next to you, the one between your land and the HOA access point, just hit the market." That land mattered. It controlled the only practical access route to the lake from the HOA side. "I'm thinking offense is better than defense," Evelyn said. "We formed Crestview Holdings, LLC. I made an all-cash offer, $20,000 over asking. The sellers accepted immediately. Karen had no idea who bought it. The morning after closing, I had a fence installed, 8 feet tall, running exactly along the boundary. Legal, permitted, perfectly compliant. And it completely cut off her access. By noon, a silver SUV screeched to a stop. Karen stormed out, face flushed with rage. "What is the meaning of this?" she shouted at the foreman. "You can't build a fence here." "We're following legal instructions," the foreman replied calmly. property owner's orders. "Who owns this?" she demanded. "You'll need to contact Crestview Holdings, LLC. I watched from my porch, coffee in hand, as the entire scene unfolded on my security feed. By evening, she was calling everyone. County offices, agents, even police. None of it worked. The fence was legal. Then she left a voicemail with my lawyer. "This is harassment," she screamed. "I know this is Arthur Mitchell's doing." Evelyn called me, still amused. "Want me to respond?" "Not yet," I said. "Let her run out of options." The next morning, chaos arrived early. Families showed up expecting lake access. Instead, they found a fence and a very angry HOA president handing out refunds from her own pocket. By Monday, the HOA issued an emergency notice demanding I remove the fence. Perfect. At the board meeting, I walked in with Evelyn and a thick folder of evidence. Karen sat at the table, smug and confident. Before anyone could begin, I stood. "This fence is on legally purchased land. I have every right to build on it." Her expression shifted instantly. "You bought that property?" she stammered. "Yes," I said, "through Crestview Holdings, LLC. I opened the folder. These are records of unauthorized bookings charging people to access my private lake. Fraud, trespassing, deception. Then I passed out signed statements from dozens of families, security footage, emails, and finally, her own message calling me selfish for not sharing my property. The room shifted. "Did you keep the money?" someone asked. Karen hesitated. "It was for HOA administrative costs." "Show the records," the board demanded. Silence. Then panic. The meeting collapsed into chaos. Within minutes, she was voted out unanimously. But it didn't stop there. Her real estate ethics board opened an investigation. Refund demands poured in. 2 weeks later, a process server arrived at my dock, confused. "Cynthia Gallagher?" "Wrong address," I said calmly. "She lives in the HOA." Eventually, she was found facing fraud charges, 17 counts. 3 months later, she pleaded guilty to reduced charges, probation, community service, and restitution. The last time anyone saw her at the property, she was sitting in her car, staring at the fence that ended her little empire. Later, I kept the land I'd purchased and turned it into a small nature preserve. Native trees, butterfly gardens, walking paths. Ironically, the same HOA that once tried to take my lake later gave me a Community Beautification Award. And on that fence, in clean, elegant lettering, a simple sign now says everything.